Good evening, everybody. Welcome
Evening.
to. I got it. It's clicked.
Look at that.
We're here.
Smooth as you like.
You would not believe how amateurish this has been just for me to get those little clips to play in the right screen on. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fallout Bar for the Paddy Power World Darts Championship. We have just come in. Was that night 4? Day 4? We have to call it day 4 at the minute.
Friday, day 4. Day 4 it is.
Day 4. We've come to the end of day 4, and just the one session today. We've been robbed of an afternoon action, and we've just had 4 games. So potentially a slightly shorter show this evening, but maybe we've got more to talk about, Cam. A slightly more interesting evening tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure we can drag it out anyway. I think we'll make sure it's a good length of show as it is anyway, especially with me and you chatting away. So yeah, it was a good night actually, wasn't it? I quite enjoyed tonight. Well,
there was, for me, it was quite good. I sort of sent a text message and about halfway through, and we'll get to it in a bit. And I thought the Darts World Championship has started now, hasn't it? Like now now we're underway. There's been, we've seen some all right stuff. There's been a bit of dross really over the weekend. It's been all right. That was a proper session of darts at the Paddy Power World Championships from down at Ali Pali. Good evening to everybody in the chat room. We've had some action in there already. Julie's in, Malky's in, Graham is in, Bob's in as well. Good evening, everybody. Stick around. We are going to do some predictions later on for tomorrow's games. We've got two full sessions tomorrow. We're back to an afternoon session tomorrow, so lots of predictions to be made. But I suppose we'll start the evening where the action started in round number 1 as Mario van den Bohara played in an attempt not only to move on in the tournament, but also to retain his tour card and status as a PDC professional. And it did not all go to plan for Super Mario, did it, Cam?
It didn't, no. He certainly had opportunities in this game as well. It was one that he's probably going away from it thinking that was an opportunity there to go and like you say, go a long way to securing his tour card. He was 67 in the world, I think, ahead of the tournament, which obviously he'll get some money for the first round, but I doubt it's going to be enough to sort of keep him in there now. It might be a trip.
He does actually sit, and I know that there's some slight idiosyncrasies in this because people have got money to come off, but in the tour card race as it stands right now, Mario van den Bohara, he is in number 65, so he is one spot off that magic 64 number. And also, let's not forget that without any spoilers for this evening, there are still some people fighting for tour cards to play. We've not yet seen Steve Lennon. We've not yet seen Radek Sedansky. There are still some people there as well. So even the likes of your Martin Klimakers, Florian Hempels, the Ian Whites, these are not safe spots. I think though, Cam, certainly the people I was communicating with throughout the day. I managed to watch the show on delay last night. I watched it, but I wasn't in the chat room live. A lot of people who I think know darts fairly well picked Thibault for this one.
Yeah, I think that's nice of you to refer to me and Gob as people who know darts really well, because there's probably a few in the chat that would question that at times.
I've called you a lot worse, haven't I, to be fair?
Yeah. However, yeah, I just fancied. I thought obviously he did well at WDF. He's had a lot of practice, and I just thought he would be the one that was a little bit more solid up there when it mattered tonight, and it turned out that he was. Especially after losing the first set as well. I thought it could have gone a very different way for him, but he missed chances to win that first set, and then all of a sudden he managed to bounce back, and the same happened to Mario in the second set, where he had opportunities to wrap it up and didn't take them, got punished, and then I thought from there that actually Thibault was really good from there. As much as they were still close sets, I thought he looked a lot more comfortable once he'd sort of managed to get that second set out of the way and get a set on the board.
Yeah, it was to a degree. It was sort of all right, wasn't it? As a game, they were both. I think they both ended up around the sort of mid-80s averages. Thibault obviously better on the doubles. He finished considerably better than Mario did. In fact, Thibault Tricot was 45% on his doubles, which is not bad.
Really solid
at all. Yeah, really solid. It swung as well. There was a couple of times that during the course of the game, I sort of changed my mind on what I thought was about to happen. But yeah, he was just a bit too solid in the end, Thibault Tricot, wasn't he? And I think he's given a good account of himself. First Frenchman to take the stage on the Ali Pali, which got a rather interesting response from the London crowd.
Yeah.
And he sets up a match against Rob Cross, which, the way that Rob Cross has been playing lately, he's going to have to significantly lift his average and even just to hold on to his throw. I think it's going to be a really, really tough game. Rob Cross is a lot of people's pick to I think he's a lot of people's pick to come through that quarter of the draw. I think there's a lot of people think it's, probably between him and Michael Smith, whoever plays best on the day, I think, in terms of that quarter, a few wild cards in there as well. But really interesting next game for Thibault Tricot. Now, from here, this is where the World Championship started, isn't it?
What a game this was.
This was genuinely superb. I didn't pick, as I normally do, I had a bet on. I didn't touch this game because there was no value whatsoever. Please gamble responsibly.
Except it turned out there was a hell of a lot of value.
Well, yeah, only what a fool everyone turns out to be at the end, because there was some unbelievable value to be had, because Jan van Veen was 1-33 before this game kicked off. And I mean, I don't think Van Veen's had a stinker. He hasn't had a. He wasn't at his brilliant best. He wasn't scoring in the way that we've seen from him. He was just a scrape shy of 53% on his doubles. His doubles were unreal.
It was mustard on the doubles. Yeah, like you say, scoring probably not quite what we know he can do. Yeah.
But what a performance from the young man from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Hugo, who likes to be known as, it seems. What did you make of this? What did you make of this game?
It was nuts, wasn't it? It's the best way of describing it. I mean, like you say, Hugo's rolled up there, first time at Ali Pali, and banged in 11 maximums. And just played a ridiculous game of darts. That, like you say, early on, he sort of put it to Jan a bit in the first set, and again in the second set, but lost both of them. And you're thinking at that stage, it's done now. Jan's been a lot more clinical on the outer ring. He's the one that seems to be the one that's holding it together when it matters. And then all of a sudden, this barrage of ridiculous.
It was literally like a fire ignited, wasn't it? It was like someone letting a firework off. It just went crackers all of a sudden.
It was just utterly madness from there. And
I feel you've got to echo the sentiments of Wayne Mardle, who sort of almost said, well, there is your exact justification for why it's so important to have international qualifiers.
Yeah.
At the World Championship, that is what, because the guy, from start to finish, the guy was box office. We'd already had some crackers soon before he'd even thrown a dart about his walk on.
What a great start that was! Yeah,
but I think, well, I'd happily watch this lad on the regular. He were an addition to the tour he would be. Really,
can we just give him a here and now? We'll just decide between me and you for the PDC. We'll take it off their hands that he gets an invite to every every major tournament for next year.
Yeah. Just as in an ambassadorial role, Manlock Young's invited. That's the way I get him. No, really, really, like absolute box office, really entertaining. He clearly had the crowd with him. Now, I also accept he was a huge underdog, and you are going to pull the Ali Pali crowd along with you if you're anyone other than Gerwyn Price and you're an underdog. So you'll be all right.
You're firing 11 180s.
Absolutely. Box office, really, really impressive stuff. What we are going to do now, though, is because I have got some interviews, but I've got interviews from Thibault as well. So we're going to just wind the clock back ever so slightly, and we're going to hear first and foremost from Thibault. We'll see what he's got to say about his victory tonight, and then we'll maybe hear a little bit from another player. Let's have a listen.
Yeah, it was sorry, I need to think, but I think so. Yeah, leg side is less pressure, less level for me. But if I want, because I want to be the pioneer, the reference in darts in France. So if I want to, if I want to develop darts in France, that's why I was being motivated to win the qualifier. The World Championship PDC, is someone the best, of course. Leg side, I have a lot of respect for WDF for everything he's doing, but PDC look, a lot of media, a lot of my big crowd, big atmosphere. That's why I wanted to be here. It's a good first step. We'll see in the future, but it's a good first.
We've rewound the clock slightly there, jumping around between games. But I think that the content of the interview, I think it's a sentiment that comes through from both of those opening two games of the night, is players who are desperate to develop darts from within their own countries and their own regions, and represent them on the big stage, which is what's happening from with both Manlock Young and with Thibault, is they are very much waving the flag for their regions within the PDC.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think that was, you could tell from the interview there that it very much mattered to him about not so much how he gets on the stage, but what that then does for French darts and where he can take it, and knowing the fact that it's great to make a WDF final, but the real eyes are on the PDC World Championship, and that's where he needs to be if he's going to be that one that takes French darts to another level and helps develop it. So clearly something that's really important to him as much as his own performance, and it's a lot of pressure to take with you when that's what you're looking to do as well. So fair play to him.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I suppose just finishing off on Leung as well, sets up another, what I think is another really interesting next round match against Gabriel Clemens, because like last year he had the tournament of his life. Last year, Gabe Clemens at Ali Pali. We haven't seen that replicate. There was a lot of talk about him being in the Premier League this year. A lot of talk on the back of that performance at the World Championships. He's not backed that up in any way through the course of this year. He's been well off the form that took him to that semi-final. We know the Germans travel well, and he'll have it. I think the crowd are going to be unreal for that game because they've got a new hero in Hugo. But Gabe Clemens gets some respect as well at Ali Pali. So that is, it's another tie to look forward to, isn't it? We've got some really impressive and really exciting games, I think, to look forward to out of tonight's.
Yeah, definitely. And if he can, like you say, if Hugo can tidy up his finishing in the early going, he can seriously put Gabe under pressure, and that is a winnable tie for someone who scores as heavily as he does.
Oh, 100%. 100%. If he can put in a performance that's 80% of that tonight, then I think he pushes him. If he replicates it, he wins, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he definitely pushes him close, and I'd be worried if I was Gabe sat there right now.
Oh yeah, you've not enjoyed that because let's be honest. If we're brutally honest, Gabe Clemens has been sat there thinking, knowing he got a stinker of a draw because he's going to have to play Jan van Veen. Like he was a lot of people's pick, Gabe Clemens, for seeding danger, because people would talk about the fact that he's not currently in form. He's had this, that, and the other, this year, and this is what his stats have been like, and Jan van Veen. But now he's got a complete wild card, hasn't he? Like he doesn't really. How do you prepare for this? He doesn't know what the crowd are going to be like. He doesn't know. I think he could be in for it. I think Gabe Clemens, interesting game. And I think I know where my 50 pence might be for that one. I might be able to find the value in that one.
Yeah, I was going to say I know where the value is. Anyway,
yeah, I definitely know where the value is. So moving on to another game with a heavy favourite as Martin Lukeman took on a man in Puhju who had never won a leg at the Alexandra Palace before and managed to get himself a set. But the story of this game, Cam, has surely got to be that this was a very comfortable, and to use the word that I think you couldn't help but repeat on the regular last night, it was a professional performance, wasn't it?
It was exactly that. Like you say, yeah. I think we'll have to have a club together and get Gob a new thesaurus for next year. But yeah, it was exactly that. I mean, I think he was 4 legs up, nearly 5 legs up before he even hit a 140 or better. Lukeman, he was just solid, scored steadily, and took out the doubles when they fell to him, and he got completely outscored in this game. Hope I played well. He scored well, but the finishing was what let him down. And every time he missed, Lukeman didn't, and that was the difference. Smash was just on it, and it's what we've seen from him. He's never one that goes up there and completely lights it up in the scoring stage, but he is so reliable on the doubles. That is why he is sat where he is in the world right now, and I thought it was really solid from him. I did feel a little bit for Hobart that Pikey might have jinxed him on the commentary when he said before the game that he will win a leg tonight after he didn't win one last time.
Yeah, and after that first one, I thought, oh, Stuart, what have you done to this poor lad here? Like,
that's it. When he went 4 legs down, I thought, oh dear, what's going on here?
Guaranteed it, didn't he?
Yeah.
He guaranteed it. Yeah, I, like you, was, swallowed a bit. Oh dear. But no, Martin Lukeman very much looks like a man who should be, or is he? Has he breached the top 32 yet? I don't think he has just yet, has he? I think
no, he was 36 before the tournament. I don't know where. I'm not 33. Sure. 33 at the moment. He's not far away.
So we might see him move up a little bit, but and he looks every bit sort of player around the 32, and if you look at the stats, 92% average, 50% on your doubles, that's gonna get you through most first round games.
It's very James Wade like, isn't it?
Yeah, he is, in a lot of his, and I'm far from the numbers man. There's probably people in my chat room are far better at that than I, but yeah, I bet if you started to look into the numbers, you would find some similarities between Martin Lukeman and James Wade in the way that they get matches won, and I think that Lukeman, and we've talked about the next round matches for everyone that's gone through so far. Martin Lukeman against Damon Heta is interesting, isn't it? Because Martin Lukeman is steady, and we sort of know what to expect from him on a stage. We'll probably get an average around 92 to 94, and he'll probably average something like 45% on his doubles. Damon Heta, I think, is far more unpredictable in this environment. If Damon Heta could average 107 and absolutely light it up, or he could have an absolute nightmare, and that could be a really messy game with Martin Lukeman.
Well, that's it. With Heta, he may well go up there first set, average 112, win it 3-0, and then have 2 sets averaging 80, and all of a sudden he's 2-1 down and he's right in trouble. So yeah, that consistency from Lukeman will keep him in a hell of a lot of games, and I think it is a very tough draw for Damon. Will he beat him? I don't know. I think it'll be close, but I think he's one of those players that you don't want to play because he's not going to go away. You're not gonna beat the fight out of him. You're not gonna sort of get him off his game. He will go up there and just religiously do what he does, which is consistently score and take out the chances when they come.
Absolutely right. Let's hear from Martin Lukeman and see what he made of this evening's match.
To be fair, I'm not going to go into whatever, but my wife fell ill. I wasn't even going to play darts, but she kicked my bum out to say, right, you're going to go play darts. Nothing's going to change. And luckily, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, we sort of knew she was all right, but we actually got the thumbs up 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I'm just right, head down now, let's do this. I wouldn't play for a while, not until I knew she was all right. I didn't want to play darts.
Interesting. Clearly, we've talked about how steady he looked on the stage. You wouldn't have read, or I didn't certainly read, that there might have been other things going on through the course of that game, or other things on his mind. So he's done a good job there, and we'll see what comes. And I think the next game, the final game of this evening, where we got to see the return to the Palace, even though he insists that yesterday morning he wasn't convinced he was going to turn up. Like, I'm not. I mean, we could get to that later on, but what?
I'm just not. I'm not having it. There was no chance that he was not coming down.
Strange thing to say, because you can't because I'm not having it. Like, I'm not having that. Yesterday morning he was thinking, I don't think I'll bother.
Yeah. It's not.
What do you get for losing in the first round? $7,500.
Yeah.
I won't bother. I'm not bothered.
I mean, it's not like he's nipping down the pub for a pint. He's gone, actually, you know what, mate? I'm not going to bother today.
Ridiculous.
Like, it's the World Championships. There's no chance he was ever not going to travel. And to be fair, the rest of that interview, he stood there and gone, after his game tonight, he's gone, yeah, the crowd were actually really good. And they got me back. But yeah, I wasn't going to travel because I don't know what they're going to be like when I come here. Stop trying to put them off again when you just.
But also, when his point of reference as to why he wasn't sure he was going to be there was that he was still in Wales at 6 o'clock yesterday morning. But he's only gone from Wales to London.
Him to be
on the moon. Like, he's not. It's like 6 o'clock yesterday morning. He could be in Australia by now.
I'm going to say it's not the New South Wales Masters they're playing, is it? He's not had to go like.
Oh man, honestly, right, but so the only prediction that I got a wobble on tonight, the only thing I didn't get right was I genuinely thought, and we didn't at one point, I thought we we're going to get it, is I did think that Connor Scott would get a leg on the board. Connor Scott, another player tonight who was playing for his tour card. That victory probably would have secured him his tour card. He was that close, but I think whilst there will be a few that thought he'd get a leg on the board, I don't think anyone's surprised by this one, Cam.
No, I actually had him to push him quite close. I was impressed with him in the first round. I thought he played really well for his sort of first time up there. He looked solid. Christoph Kachuk's a tough draw in the first round, and he sort of dispatched him very, very easily. And I thought he would, if anything, come on a little bit for that performance, but it just looked a little bit like the moment got to him up there today, didn't it? That he realised who he was playing and what he was up against. I think from that, as much as anything, from that first visit, as soon as Gezi goes off 180, you go, oh, I'm in for it here, aren't I? Like, if he starts 41 or a couple of ropey darts early on, you think, maybe he's there for the taking. But when he kicks off 180 and rattles through the first set in 45 darts, you're up against it.
Yeah, and I just thought we would see, because that wasn't platinum Gezi Price, was it? It was all right Gezi Price, and I did think I thought that Connor Scott would have enough. We've seen him the run I think it was so Players Championship 27. He got to the final.
Yeah.
You know, and along the way managed to get rid of, you know, Jan van Veen, Gary Anderson, Ross Smith. Like, you know, we've seen glimpses from Connor Scott, but I think the reason why we do see him at that point where he's not retained his tour card is because that's all we've seen, isn't it? We've seen glimpses. We haven't seen consistency. We've not seen him turning up to 2 Pro Tours in a row and having a run. And we've seen him. The target for him and where he's got to is qualifying for things. You know, qualified for the Players Championship finals, qualified for Ali Pali, but hasn't managed to put really very much together, or certainly not enough to retain the tour card. But you probably wouldn't put it past him coming back on the tour at some point. He is young enough, isn't he, that we expect to see him around, if not this year, next year, probably. Do you think? Yeah,
exactly that. I think we'll see him back. I think he's going to be a real candidate to go and get it straight back and be able to go and challenge again. And he will improve and he'll get better and better. Like you say, I mean, he's 27. Like, he's got a long time left in this game yet. And the more he plays up on the stage like that, and the more chances and opportunities he gets to play week in, week out, he's going to improve and he's going to get better and better. And it will just, I mean, the game's there. The game's absolutely there. It's just about finding that consistency, and that only comes through doing it and repeating it. So I think he'll be absolutely fine. I think he'll be back, and I think we'll see him go on to do a lot more in the future than what he's managed today.
Are you more or less convinced about Gerwyn Price after that?
I don't really know. I'd say about the same. I don't fancy him to win this tournament. I'm not sure it's the one that he's going to be the one that goes on to do it this year. So, and there's nothing that I saw there that makes me think that he is going to do. So, it was solid from him. It was comfortable, but I mean, it always is going to be. You know, Gezi, even at his B game, he's going to be up around the late 90s, early 100s average. So if his opponent's averaging 85, he's going to win comfortably. So do you think there's a potentially goes home now, because that's him done for Christmas, isn't it? You know, so he's away now, done. Doesn't have to think about Ali Pali for a little while. Comes back after Christmas, and away we go, and then hopefully he might get into it a little bit better. But Brendan Dolan could be a tricky customer, couldn't he? Yeah, I mean, Brendan nearly stopped him winning it.
With the greatest of respect to the other two, to Chen and to Mickey Mansell, it's probably going to be Brendan Dolan. Brendan Dolan doesn't go away. He's horrible. No. He's horrible. He's awful to play against.
In the best possible way, he's awful.
Oh, I love him. I love it. And in fact, I love him that much. I've got a set of his new arrows winging their way to. I put my hands on a set. When I was down in Ilkeston, I managed to touch a set of Brendan Dolan's new darts. And if you ever pick a set of darts up, and it's genuinely as if someone had carved a dart into my grip. I literally held them and immediately went, God, that's.
They're good. Yeah,
that's freaky. Like, I need to get me a set of these. But no, I think Brendan Dolan is a really, or could be potentially a really tricky customer for Gerwyn Price. And yeah, I don't think at any point are we banking, or am I banking on Gerwyn breezing through the tournament. But let's see what the man himself said, because our man at the Palace, Phil Bars, has managed to get a few words from Gerwyn Price, so let's have a listen and see what he makes of it all.
No, I mean, if I go and win the World Championship, I mean, I'm sure Lukeman will agree. If he's won the last 3, and he would certainly trade in those 3 for this big one. So yeah, if I go and win this, then I've been in 3 major finals, the World Cup final, I'm won that as well. So yes, it's not a bad year. Just like you said, unfortunately, I haven't picked up any trophies, but what better way to end the year, and I'm picking up the biggest one of all.
You touched on your Sky interview there. You were expecting dogs abuse from the crowd, but you didn't get it. Was that a nice surprise?
Yeah, but I was playing pretty well. I was 3-0 first 2 sets. I mean, if it's 2-all, you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, the crowd's been brilliant with me all year. And like I said, I was a bit anxious, I'm never really nervous going on stage. But yeah, today I was, and I'm thankful they were pretty good to me. But nothing says that if they don't go really close that they're going to be on my back, and I expect that. But you know, it's I'm just thankful they were pretty good today. Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you've seen the way the reception I've got over the years, it's not been great, so I'm a little bit anxious, a bit nervous going on stage, and yeah, the whole year it's been good to me, but it's not the same crowd, it's not the same fans that come and watch at Ali Pali, so I was a little bit anxious going on stage, but you know, I thought they were pretty good. Yeah, obviously I'd love to lift it again, and obviously with the crowd here, and not just the crowd, just family, friends, and you know, to be able to win the trophy again, take it home and parade it a little bit, because they were just sat on my kitchen table for 6 months, and I was like, yeah, you may as well have it back. It's just gathering dust, like. But yes, it didn't feel as special as what I thought it would, but you know, nothing saying if I don't win it again, then it'll feel a little bit better.
Interesting that he did a little bit get robbed of his year as world champion, didn't he?
Yeah, and like you say, it must be a big thing for him. I've heard him say that a couple of times this week, that he'd like to have that opportunity to enjoy it a little bit more, and like you say, be able to take it out, because there was nothing any of us could do at that point. It was that situation where he won it behind closed doors, and it's not the same, and there's always going to be a little bit of a question mark on it, as would he have won it if there was a crowd there, would this, that and the other. But at least he sounded a little bit more positive there than he did on Sky after he finished. So at least my main concern was, is he going to bother coming back after Christmas?
Yeah, is he going to come and play again? Or does he feel like he's fulfilled his obligations now? He'll bugger off and enjoy the rest of it, lads. More to the other point I'll make on that is, yet again, somebody, a big player who is opening their chance to talk about their game and their tournament by talking about Luke Humphries.
Yeah.
It's another player. You know, tell us how your game went today. Well, Luke Humphries is and we've seen an awful lot of that this week.
There's a lot of people talking about Luke Humphries to say that he gets labelled as being not very interesting. Everyone likes to still talk about him somehow.
Oh yeah, Luke Humphries is the number one topic of conversation. Right, we're doing all right for time. We're half an hour in. We've done tonight. This. We've heard from 3 different players. We've heard from everyone who can be interviewed in English. We've done well there. Now, tomorrow we've got 2 sessions tomorrow, so we're back to an afternoon session kicking off at 12:30. And
me doing no work tomorrow afternoon.
No comment. So the opening match tomorrow, and we'll get predictions, please, in the chat room as well, if you will. We are looking for scores as we go through. So, Cam, Ian White, who has had a very strange couple of years and is actually at risk of losing his tour card, but his meeting with Tomoya Goto could secure that tour card. Are you backing him to do it?
Could and should. We know he's not got the greatest of records on this stage either, but I've got to be honest, I don't know a lot about Tomoya Goto.
Oh, well, then we're both knackered then, because I was about to say, I think it's the player in the tournament I know the least about. So
yeah, this is where I usually just look to Gob and say, like, God, just lead us in a little bit here.
Folks in the chat room, you haven't got the depth of knowledge this evening between Cam and I. We'll probably both just back Ian White then, eh?
The last time that this happened, with me and Gob doing predictions the other day, where Gob also hadn't heard anything about the other player, I just went, right, well, on that basis, I'm going 3-0 Ian White, and that's the way I'm going to do it. So, yeah, because I know nothing about him, I can't go anything but picking the player that I know about, that we know is a very good player, 3-0 Ian White.
Yeah, I'm finding it very hard to not, and I never like to be boring, but it's hard to not agree with you on that. I just don't know enough about Tomoyo Goto to wonder whether a leg is possible. And I also know that Ian White is all right backed into a corner sometimes, and he's very much backed into a corner in terms of his tour card, so he needs that one. I think he'll get the job done. Next up on the playing order tomorrow is we're going to see Richie Edhouse against Jeffrey de Graaf. What are you making of this one? I think this is an interesting fixture.
I do as well. I like Richie Edhouse, and on his days, a very, very good player. But he does occasionally throw in a bit of a stinker. And if he does that, that might make life a little bit difficult for him. And we've seen, obviously, de Graaf's played recently in the Super Series. Didn't have the greatest of time in that. But it's practice, and it's good practice. Is it enough to go up there and beat Richie Edhouse? I'm not sure. And I think while he might get a set, I think Richie probably wins this 3-1.
Yeah, so I'm just having a look. Jeffrey de Graaf's record at World Championships of any respect isn't great. So every time he has appeared in either a BDO or PDC World Championship, he's lost in the first round. And that's 1, 2, 3, 6 times. This will be the 7th World Championship he goes for. With that in mind, yeah, I'm not even. I'll give him a leg. Richie Edhouse wins. Did you say 3-1? I can't copy you twice. God, right. Richie Edhouse wins 3-0. Just because we need some sort of different. Right, we can't just have identical predictions. Can we?
That's it. Yeah, we'll at least make it interesting for the.
Yeah, I'll take that one
tomorrow.
This one could be dreadful, or it could be amazing. Keegan Brown against Big Boris Kirchmar. Late qualifier, very late to the party, Boris.
The last, wasn't he? Or the last group. Yeah.
He's the last confirmed name. I think this is quite an interesting game. I'm quite keen to see this one. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think this is a good game. I'm looking forward to this one. I actually think this will be a sneakily good game that's very, very close. And I like Keegan to win this 3-2. I'm saying we go all the way. Deciding leg, deciding set. Keegan wins it 3-2.
Christ. It's weird. It's like you're in my head.
I know. It's...
But also, I think, like, it's the safe bet, isn't it? Like, Keegan Brown's the safe bet. And, yeah, he gets through this. And I think he does it. In fact, I'll give Keegan Brown a bit more comfort than you have. I mean, the man's named after Kevin Keegan, for goodness sake.
Oh, here we go. We're giving him a whitewash because of that for you.
No,
is that the way we're going?
No, but I'll give him a 3-1. I would love it if he beats. Yeah, I would love it if he beats. It. Yeah, Keegan Brown. Keegan Brown beats Boris Kirchmar 3-1, and then we come to the main event of tomorrow's afternoon session, and this really is, I think, where we're going to see those that are working from home, peering over the top of their laptops. Like, this is a really, really interesting game, this one, as James Wade in a second round clash meets Canadian Matt Campbell. Fascinating.
Yeah, great game, this. I did see someone ask the question in the chat before on why James Wade was on in the afternoon, Graham there, with a little laughing face after it. I think we all know why James Wade's on in the afternoon, because he's James Wade. But I think that he wins this pretty comfortably. You never know what you're going to get with Matt Campbell. He could go up there and absolutely rattle through the games and play really well. or he could struggle a little bit. And we saw it a couple of times last night that he missed opportunities and he gave too many chances away in a game that he probably should have won more comfortably than he did in the end. You cannot do that against James Wade. You do that against James Wade and you lose a game very, very quickly. I think it's 3-0. I really like James Wade for this. I know Gob's been religiously telling me that his record's not good enough at the Worlds and that 40-1 at the start of the tournament is too big of a price for James Wade in the form that he's in at the moment. And record there or not, the guy's been everywhere and won everything other than this. I think he rattles through this 3-0 and I think he looks really good doing it.
See, and I'm going to go through the chat room's predictions in a moment before we move on to the evening session. But there seem to be a few people agreeing with you on that as well. And I didn't have it there. I think it's a James Wade win. I think it's 3-2, and I think it's all over the place. I think it'll be that they'll take turns front running. Matt Campbell will win the opening set, and then James Wade will win 2, and then Matt Campbell will level it up, and then someone will have match darts, and someone else will get another. I think it's going to be chaos. Is my prediction. Yeah, James Wade to win by absolute chaos.
By chaos, okay.
And just sort of, James Wade is way through it. Before we move on to the evening session, to have a quick skim through. We've almost universally agreed, I think, with Tommy, Connor, Bob, Malachi, everyone's got Ian White winning 3-0, other than Graham, who has been bold enough to go 3-2 Gotto. Graham, do you know?
Does he know something we don't?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that is the sentence I was going with there. Does he know something we don't? Let me contact my bookmaker. Please gamble responsibly.
Is this gonna? Is this gonna be the second coming of Hugo?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. So moving on, we've got Connor's gone 3-0 Richie Edhouse. Tommy's gone 3-2 Edhouse. Bob's gone 3-1. We've got every combination of Richie Edhouse victories there. Malachi has gone for a 3-2 De Graaf win. Graham's gone 3-1 Edhouse. Definitely favouring Edhouse in the chat room there. And then, interestingly, a few of them against us there. Graham's gone 3-1 Big Boris. Tommy's gone 3-2, Big Boris. Connor's with us on a Keegan Brown 3-0. Connor thinks James Wade 3-0. Tommy's James Wade 3-1. Yeah, there's some. Graham's got, Wade too solid for Campbell 3-0. I just think it gets messy, that one. I think James Wade will come through it because I think he comes through messy games. Bob's got Wade 3-1 as well. I think that's going to be a hell of a game, though. I'm really looking forward to James Wade and Matt Campbell. And then tomorrow evening, if you think the afternoon was good fun, we're going to open with the Bronze Adonis, Steve Beaton, against, to some people, the controversial edition of Vessel Nyman.
He's never done anything wrong, has he?
Interesting opening. Well, and interestingly, by the letter of the law, is still serving his suspension, bizarrely enough, because he got a 5-year suspension and he had the second 2.5 years suspended.
So he's still got to be on his best behaviour for.
He is still on a suspension. Now, I don't know what that means in terms of a suspended sentence. I don't know if he can't throw someone off the stage or something. I assume
it would have to be something along the same.
Because surely, if he did anything else that transgressed against the rules anyway, he'd be getting a ban for that.
Yeah, it's an odd one, isn't it? It's just basically saying, we're coming down really hard on him and giving him a 5-year ban, but actually, we're only actually banning him for 2.5 years. Yeah,
I'm not as worked up about it as a lot of people are. Only in the sense that I think, there's a system in place to catch people and punish them, and that system has worked, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like
he served his ban, and
yeah, he was caught, he was banned, he was punished. Now he's back, and by all accounts, he's playing bloody well. So
yeah, well, obviously he's qualified, so
yeah,
he certainly is playing well.
Can do, and Steve Beaton, the man who drinks from the fountain of youth.
He's just ageless, isn't he? He's
like an ageless man, but not only ageless, but is just his ability to just maintain is the ownership of a tour card that just never looks at risk, never looks in doubt, and a couple of wins here and he almost seals it up for and just keeps that ticking along, doesn't it? He keeps the train going. Although I do, the only sad thing is I do really want to see Steve Beaton on a World Seniors tour as well. Like I have like a dual like. It's not that I want him to lose his tour card, but I'd just love to see. I think he'd be a brilliant addition to the seniors.
Yeah, I don't want him to lose his tour card, but I absolutely want him to lose his tour card and go and play on the seniors. Yeah,
but if he loses his tour card, I'll be celebrating. But I don't want it. But for all the right reasons, and because I love you, Steve. Right, where are you going with this one, Cam? What are you picking?
I haven't got a bloody clue. I was letting you waffle for a bit there while I tried to make a decision on what I was going to do. And I'm still not sure. I think experience gets it done here. And I think Beaton wins it 3-2. I think it's close. I do think Vessel's playing well. And I think that will give him opportunities and he'll win a couple of sets. But I think when it comes down to it and it really matters in that last set, experience, I think, will tell. And I think Beaton gets over the line.
Yeah, I just think it's it's Steve Beaton, playing his 33rd World Championship on the bounce, like without, and I don't think he has any intention of going out in the first round of it. I think he comes through. I'm going to probably make him a little bit more comfortable than you have. I think he goes through 3-1. There's quite a lot of Beaton in the chat room. Connor's going a 3-0 Beaton. David's got Beaton winning 3-1. Graham's got exactly the same as you, Cam. He's got Beaton winning 3-2. Tommy's a 3-1 winner as well. Nyman is a dark horse. Well, I don't know. I think he's a yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, we've not seen enough of him, have we? We know.
We don't know what he's going to do.
He's won. What has he won? 3 Dev Tour titles this year.
Yeah.
So we know. He has done well on the Dev Tour. But I think it's a very different thing winning a match on the Dev Tour or winning winning a few tournaments on the Dev Tour and beating Steve Beaton at the Palace in front of when, let's be honest, we're not quite sure how that crowd's going to react to him.
Yeah, exactly that. That's going to
sometimes, and I mean this in the nicest possible way.
Yeah,
sometimes that crowd isn't particularly well informed.
No,
it's folks in fancy dress on Christmas parties, and he might get away with it. But there is a chance that he's up against it in terms of the crowd tomorrow. So
I think he's going to be anyway, isn't he? Because everyone loves himself a bit.
Well, I know. I was going to say, and regardless of anything he's ever done in his past, he's playing against the number one man in darts that everybody loves the most. So he's playing Steve Beaton at the Palace. Right, Mike De Decker is playing Dragutin Horvat, and for me, I'm not really going to overcomplicate matters because I think that this is a relatively comfortable Mike De Decker 3-0 victory.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. Horvat's played some good stuff in Germany this year, but again, does that translate to the World Championship stage against someone who is as good as Mike De Decker is? I don't think so, and I think it's 3-1 to De Decker, and I think it's a pretty comfortable 3-1. There'll be one set that he might lose against the darts in that set, but then other than that, I think he'll rattle through the rest of it.
Yeah, so I think the chat room's in agreement. Dan's got De Decker 3-0. Tommy is a 3-0 as well, as is Graham. Bob's been generous and he's given Horvat a set. So he's got De Decker as a 3-1. David has got 3-1 to De Decker as well. So I think we all know what's going to happen in that one. Now, again, another exciting game. Some mint games tomorrow. Now, I'm quite looking forward to seeing Ricardo Petrescu against Miraku Suzuki.
Good game. Very
And
good
I
game.
think I'm more excited, and this is a bit harsh, I'm more excited for seeing this since Petrescu's sort of meltdown the last time we saw him on a stage. I suppose he was on a stage at the Players' Championship finals, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But we saw some very, very strange antics and behaviour and interactions with the crowd from Ricardo Petrescu. And let's be honest, the crowd is going to want Miraku Suzuki to beat him from him.
I think, yeah, like you say, he's, as much as we've said this already, the Germans travel really well at the Palace. They always have some really good support. I don't think he's going to get a lot of it in this game because, like you say, it's the effects of playing a woman up on the stage. You're always going to be on the back foot a little bit. But I think he comes through this and comes through it comfortably, and I think he wins 3-0. I just think he's great. I think he's so talented, and I can't see any way he loses this game.
No, I think he's, when he won the German Darts Open, he beat Peter Wright in the final, having already beaten Michael van Gerwen, en route. Yes, he's sort of young, up and coming, fairly new still to the scene in terms of PDC major events. We've only, whilst he's been floating around the European events for the last few years, we've only really seen him for the last couple of years in the PDC. I can't really see much other than a 3-0. I'm afraid. I think. Let's have a look at the chat room. Tommy has gone 3-1 Petrescu. David's gone 3-2 Petrescu. Bob's gone 3-2 Petrescu. They're giving Suzuki a bit more than we have, I think. Graham's gone 3-0. Harry, member of the team, Harry's gone 3-2. He's given Miraku a bit more than we have as well. We've maybe been unfairly. I don't think we have. I think we've been.
No, I think we'll see it tomorrow that he comes through that.
I'm having that. And then tomorrow, main event of the evening, and he's got to be the main event because he main event any event that he takes part in and plays. Michael van Gerwen against Barry Keane.
Yeah, the green machine on the green stage, up against the Irishman. There's more green. It's all green tomorrow night. There's just everything's going to be green.
I'd not thought about how well coordinated the Paddy Power stage will be with Michael van Gerwen in general.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not the same shade of green, but it's a lot of green.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Green.
That's it. Yeah, the follow up, the slightly more colourful edition.
Yeah.
We're going down a hole here, aren't we?
I was going to say all of the things I said and it was going to say next, I had to buy every one of them. I'd gone through about 3 different next sentences and every
so did I. That's why I just.
Can we just I tell you what? Let's jump to predictions before either of us get this channel shut down.
Yeah, predictions. I don't think Keane Barry played very well the other night, and the other night, afternoon, can't remember. They're all blurring into one already, and we're only 4 days in. Yeah, I wasn't particularly impressed with him, and that's not going to get you very far against Michael van Gerwen, and I think he loses this 3-0.
Yeah, Keane Barry was cack the other night, for want of a better word. He averaged 85-ish against Ray Rivera. He played Big Ray. I can't see any. I think it's a Michael Van Gerwen 3-0.
We're agreeing a lot here.
I know, it's worrying, isn't it?
It is.
It's unusual. I mean, it probably just means that there's some very strange results coming tomorrow. But no, and we're clearly getting backed up in the chat room. So Bob's got it, MVG 3-1 winner. Tommy has got it as a 3-0. David's got a 3-0. Graham's got a 3-0, as has Harry. So it can't be just, if we're mad, Cam, it's not just you and I.
Yeah.
It is the rest of the chat room as well. Right. And with that, we've rattled through tidy just inside of an hour, and we've nicely made our way through.
Apologies if anyone can hear this in the background, by the way. It started absolutely lashing it down in what is normally.
I could just see that. Yeah, is it
not
raining in Manchester just for a change?
Yeah, it doesn't usually. The Manchester Riviera doesn't usually see anything but sunshine, but we've got some rain. We just sneak it in overnight so that we don't see it during the day.
Oh, bizarre. Yeah, imagine that
Very
rain in Manchester. Terrible.
But yeah, so apologies to anyone that can hear that.
Don't forget, folks, all of the interviews in full length are available on our YouTube channel. Please check them out and listen to them in full. This show will be available by tomorrow morning as a podcast. Tell your friends, tell your mum, tell your nan, let them tune in. Please make sure that you are subscribing to our channels, because as we get interviews, you will notice that this is the time of the year where we pick up far more information and interviews and clips and everything else. And if you are subscribed across YouTube and across Twitter or X or Facebook or Instagram, TikTok, we have all the social media that I don't have and my 14-year-old daughter tells me about. So wherever you're on, subscribe to Online Darts. We'll see you tomorrow. I don't know who's on tomorrow. Could be me again. Are you back tomorrow?
That's a good question that I don't know the answer to.
We don't know who's on tomorrow. I'm available. It could be me. Who knows?
It might be me and you again.
At least be a couple of us, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Me and Gob tomorrow, apparently. We've got
who?
me and Gob tomorrow.
Is it? Oh, I might come and join you just for a laugh.
Yeah, well, that's three of us. We've never done three people on a Fallout before. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, we could mix it
That's
up.
the new 50 Shades of Green. It's bringing out the. No, we've gone down the road again.
Right, stop it. Right, we're going. Right. Good night, everybody. Take care. Bye bye.